Hey folks, I'm here to ruin your summer. No, I'm not. I'm just here to give you a warning to stay safe in the water. Not talking about sharks, crocs, gators, sunburn. It's something you may or may not have heard of. Nagleria Fowleri, otherwise known as the brain-eating amoeba. Whether this is in fresh water or non-chlorinated water, it's not found in salt water. It's also, there have been cases of it in hot springs and when people use tap water for neti pots. It is like 99% deadly. And the symptoms come within a week and you could be dead within 2 weeks, although a few people have gone a few days before, a few days after. Those are averages. There have been at least a couple of hundred since records have been kept in the United States and in other developed countries. The problem is people may have been dying from it for years, but it was only just discovered in fairly recent times. It used to only be in warm weather states, the U.S. or Southern Europe, or, places with a warmer climate. But it has now been found in northern states that clear-looking water or murky-looking water in a freshwater lake or pond or even river. Even brackish water is dangerous. What it looks like on the surface is not an indication of whether it has the amoeba or not. The way it gets in your brain is it actually travels up the nose and goes to your brain. And it actually starts eating brain tissue. If you watch a show called, if you ever seen Monsters Inside Me, there's a lot of information on it. And even on YouTube, you could find little parts of it. It is scary as hell. Kids will go swimming and, I've even warned people and they're like, oh, let me have fun. Okay, but you can still have fun and be safe. What happens is they're splashing around and it goes up their nose, or they go underwater and it goes up their nose. Some kids in Australia even got it from playing with a backyard hose, and I guess the water wasn't, the water either wasn't chlorinated, or if you're turning it on for the first time for the season, it's been sitting and getting warm in that hose, and it hasn't had a chance to flush through. The child died. It was very, very sad. So since Australia's seasons are opposite the northern hemisphere, I'm not forgetting you Aussies out there. I love you too. Unless they're in a warm climate, a warmer climate where they can swim, then they always have summer. Even since our cooler weather, our cooler climates, the water warms up now with global warming. Like I said before, a northern state has had a case of it. So even parts of Australia, with them it's the opposite. They go south and it gets cooler. They're not immune from it either. So, this warning is for everybody, no matter what hemisphere you live in. And it goes up your nose into your brain, and your brain, the amoeba's like a nice warm place. And your brain is moist and warm. Perfect place for them. It actually evades your immune system. You'll see the diagram of how it you've seen the diagram that I just showed on how it travels up to your brain. Within a week or two, they are pretty much dead. The first few days, or even the day after they went swimming, they'll start getting a headache, being very sleepy, get nauseous, you name it. And what infuriates me is that the parents take the child to the doctor, and he says, oh, it's just a flu or a virus. It'll go away in a few days. Okay, and this is the emergency room. You know, sometimes they just send him home. I think, and at the beginning, okay, one girl that did survive, she got hers in a water park that had fresh water. I don't think water parks should be in fresh water. There was also a case, this one was in Arkansas, there was one in Texas too. You should not have a water park in a fresh body of water. It should be chlorinated water. That's my opinion, and you know, that's where a lot of the kids get sick. And now that's becoming more widely known. They have an infectious disease specialist that is there for other reasons anyway. They will finally suggest a spinal tap. This one mother insisted on it right away for her daughter, who ended up surviving. She would not take no for an answer, and they did it. Sure enough, the fluid that came out of the spine showed Nagleria Fowleri, and there is a new medicine now that milaprestolone or something like that. Hey, Roxy. It's a medication that if you start them on it right away, it's not a guarantee, but it sure does increase the chances of surviving. Even after surviving, she went through at least a year of learning how to walk again and all the major things that a person has to do in life. A couple other children survived too. Now, the reason children get it more often than adults, okay, it's mostly children. First of all, children are more carefree. They get to swim more often. I think boys get it more often than girls, because I guess boys swim more. But the thing I'm getting at here is that probably because their membrane in their nose hasn't developed to the point that an adult's has developed. So it's a thinner membrane, and I guess it's easier for the water to go up. There have been adults, 30 and over, who have died of it, but you hear of it mostly being children. And in this week or two that the doctors are insisting that it's just a flu or whatever, they always show the actual doctor who ends up trying to help the child. It'll show like the person head of infectious diseases at so-and-so hospital or whatever, and they'll explain it, and it'll 99% of the time it ends up being a sad story. The child dies. In addition to the list of that I've given, keep your head out of water. Hold your nose if you're going underwater. Best of all, wear nose plugs. Don't even go in non-chlorinated water or non-salt water. And like I said, brackish isn't enough. That's only partial salt water, and the little creeps can still get in there. And what was the other one? Oh, if you're going to do a neti pot, boil the water first and then allow it to cool. Or do what I do. I'm lazy. I just buy the saline nose drops, and those are already sterile. Okay, and also like the poor kids in Australia that it happened, they were filling their backyard pool, baby pool. If you're going to have a baby pool, change the water every day, of course. Make sure the water is chlorinated. And with a hose, don't let it sit for a while and then start playing with it. I don't even let water get up my nose in the shower. Even though I know my water's chlorinated, I'm just paranoid about it, and I'd rather be paranoid than the other alternative, right? So, I still want you to enjoy your summer. I don't want to be like a party pooper, but if someone loses a child or even an adult, you lose a family member, that's going to ruin it a lot more than old Aunt Diane lecturing you. God bless. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.